morning. Good morning to all of you. My name is Paola Fontana, and I'm project manager at CITTà STUDI Pointers, the Style Innovation Cluster. And I'm very happy to welcome all of you on behalf of the Transitions partners. So a warm welcome to all people here with us at Confindustria Moda and the people that are connected online. I would like to start this conference thanking, first of all, Confindustria Moda for hosting us in this great location. And I'm inviting Mauro Sanpellegrini, a Research Sustainability Innovation Manager at Confindustria Moda, to tell us something about Confindustria Moda. Please, Mauro.
Good morning. I am the honor of hosting you today. Welcome in Milan. Many say one of the capital for fashion worldwide, so I hope that you will stay here and visiting our great city that are really focused on textile, technical textile and fashion. I have a presentation. I don't know if there is the green. Okay, that's fine. So what I can say, I am Mauro Sanpellegrini. I am since the year the Director of Research, Innovation and Sustainability in Confindustria Moda. We are there, so this is our headquarters. We are the National Association for Textile, Technical Textile and Fashion. So our supply chain, our associated partners cover all the supply chain, starting from the production of raw material and arriving to the brands. And now, surely with a circular economy more, so we are enlarging now our possible associated enterprises. I have only the turnover of the 23. The 24 is now in elaboration. So great results for Italy in the 24, in the 23. Certainly with a great increasing in the year. Now we are close to, in the 24, close to the 63 billion euro in turnover, only for textile, technical textile and fashion. Italy, you know, is the first nation in Europe for production and export. Represented in all the country, we have many districts, natural districts for industrial in textile with great heritage, culture and innovation in textile. This is a sort of a map with the districts that involve the textile in Italy. So you can see that come from the north to the south of Italy. In Lombardy, there is a great tradition, not only Lombardy, so not only here, but also in Biella, you know, in Prato, in Tuscany, but also in Veneto, the west, the east region of Italy, where there are many, many technical textile and many brands like Dainese, like La Scarpa, like many important enterprises that works in PPI or in sportwear. What is our works, and mine in particular? We may, first of all, lobby. So our interface is the Italian Ministry for Economy and for Energy and Sustainability now. So we are the direct actors that intermediate between enterprises and the Italian Ministry and the government for textile industry, that represent in Italy the 7% of GDP of the total. So it's the second sector in Italy for the importance in production and export. So it's our first job. We work a lot with EURATEX. Certainly here we have the director and an important colleague of mine that works with us in innovation, with me in particular for innovation and skills. So thanks to Dirk for the great work that he has done, and he's still doing for our association through the European Commission. Consultancy and network are the other two topics that we are serving now. So in Confindustria Moda, only to understand our organization, we have 12 different sectors that involve the Italian enterprises. So as you can see, flax, wool, women's clothing, men's, children's underwear, technical textile, that for me is really important, certainly. So with Tex Club Tech, clothing textile, ennoblement, so the finishing part that is a consistent chemical and biochemical part in Italy, and miscellaneous textiles, so the accessories that are compliant with textile. Other kind of services, anyway, I go fast, that we done only to focus on my area that can be interesting for you understand what we are doing for research and innovation. We participate to European projects, especially Horizon Europe, to bring in the enterprises research and innovation in collaboration with university academia. One is TRIC. I don't show the video because I have a very short time for that. This is a project that's handled last year that is concentrated on traceability and digitalization for textile, with formation included. So the formation for the small and medium enterprises that have to be compliant with PF, that have to be compliant to trackability. So the result will be very interesting, and this project will come a sort of standard for trackability at European level. So we have created a sort of technical ISO standard group that are following the next step of TRIC. Another project is this one that starts last year with the coordinator VTT from Finland, that is concentrated on biomimetic materials, so the simulation of penguin skills applied to sportwear. A very important partner of this project is Colmar, an Italian brand. So we will realize a sort of sportwear garment that in a biomimetic way will simulate the behavior of the penguin skill, with biotechnology in eco-design approach. So everything is concerning a recyclability of the product at the end of the project. Another project that starts now with EURATEX, with next technology that is present, and another important partner at the European level is Circulatex, that is confirming the EPR scheme, so the extended product responsibility. So our area is totally involved in research and innovation, and one of our first mission is to transport research and innovation to the enterprises. So thanks for your attention, and have a nice day, and thank you for this great event here.
Thank you, Mauro. Thank you very much. Okay, so we can start with our conference. Just on short notice, we are filming the conference, so if there is someone that doesn't want to be filmed, please say it now. We can start now. I'm introducing Cecilia Liljegren. She joined at the agency in 2006, bringing her a wealth experience from the private sector in Brussels, where she focused on capacity and institutional building for NGOs and third sector organizations, as well as providing information on EU funding opportunities for these entities. Over the years, she has managed various actions within the agency, including voluntary service initiatives, the Apple platform, and skills programs, handling both grants and procurement. Currently, Cecilia serves as the team leader for the Alliances for Innovation and Action in Unit A2, which deals with actions in the area of skills and innovation. She also has a background in political science and economic history, with a master's degree specializing in demography and population economics. She will present Erasmus Plus Alliances for Innovation, and she is connected online. So, Cecilia, please, the screen is yours.
I hope you hear me, first of all. And then I will share my screen. So let's see if everything is working. Do you see my screen? And do you hear me? I hope you hear me and you see my screen. So thank you for the introduction, and also thank you very much for being here today, and a good morning also from Brussels. I'm actually very glad to participate in this final conference of the Transition Project. And a big thank you to the organizers, the project coordinators, and the partners behind this interesting event. So my name is Cecilia Liljegren, and I'm the project officer for the project Transition. This is a project that was selected under the call 2021 of the Alliances for Innovation, and it's lot 1, Education and Enterprises. As mentioned also, I'm also the team leader of the Alliances for Innovation team in this unit A2 of the agency. And this unit is actually dealing with actions in the area of skills and innovation. And it's under the Erasmus Plus program, of course. I must say that I'm very looking forward to this day, actually, to learn a bit more about the outcomes of the project Transition, which I have followed over the years. And also, I know that there are some other projects supported by the agency there today. And yeah, it's very interesting to hear all the discussions that will happen and also all the presentations. So I'm really looking forward. So from my side today, I will give you a short insight into the agency, the action, but also what support we have provided to projects addressing textile and fashion sector in different ways. So let's start. I know that we don't have so much time. So here, this is just to show a little bit where the agency, the European Education and Culture Executive Agency, is placed. So this agency manages programs in the Erasmus program, of course, but also Creative Europe, Citizens, Equality, Rights and Values, the SERV, and European Solidarity Corps. We also have intra-Africa academic pilot projects and preparatory actions. So this is where we are based, let's say, among all these agencies, centralized agency. A little bit more about the agency. It was established in 2006, and it manages these programs I showed before. And in particular, it strives to support innovation in these areas and cross-border cooperation. And we also support developments in skills in workforce, educational sector, vets, small medium enterprises, research institutes, public bodies, NGOs, and so forth. And this is, the next slide is a little bit about, let's say, the level of funding. And you see that the main one, I mean, is the Erasmus Plus program, of course. So these are the programs that we are managing on a centralized level. But let's see now a little bit also some specific information about Alliances for Innovation, and also a little bit more about the policies. So these were the priorities from 2021 to 2027. There is a strong focus placed on social inclusion and diversity, but also green and digital transition and active participation in the Erasmus Plus program. And you will see that this is really reflected also in the projects that we are supporting. And let's go to the next slide. We talked already about the Alliances for Innovation. And you see here that we are actually placed under key action 2 of the Erasmus program, and that's cooperation among organizations and institutions, and in particular partnerships for innovation, as the name is also saying. Today, I will also mention 2 other actions that we are managing in the in Unit A2, Skills and Innovation. and that's a centers of vocational excellence, but also forward-looking projects, because we also have some projects addressing actually the textile and the fashion sectors selected under these two actions as well. So I will mention them a little bit. For key action 2, we have these actions, but there is also key action 1. You probably know that's learning mobility of individuals under the Erasmus program, and there is also key action 3, support of policy development and cooperation. But today we are placed under the key action 2. And if we take then Alliances for Innovation, as I mentioned earlier, the project Transitions was actually selected under Alliances for Innovation Lot 1, so education and enterprises, and it was in 2021 call. Shortly about the action, there are 2 clear objectives of this action for both lots. First of all, focus on partnerships, cooperation, flow of knowledge among higher education institutions, vet providers, business, enterprises, including research, the so-called knowledge triangle. And then we have a second objective of the action. It focuses also on skills provision, addressing skills mismatches. So these are the 2 objectives. You probably wonder a little bit what has been the, how can I say, the journey of this action. It started in 2021 with the first call. And here you see actually more the budget we have for every year. It remains very stable. We have 62 million euros, 32 for lot 2 and 30 for lot 1. And lot 2 is actually the blueprints. I will speak maybe less about the blueprints today and more about lot 1 in the presentations, because we have more projects in this area. And I think there is also a project here today, maybe representing a bit the blueprint projects. As you can see, every year we have a lot of applications, over 300 in each selection round. It's going from the smallest selection, let's say, when we started in 2021 with 317 applications submitted. And then we went up to 406 actually in 2022. And now it has been more stable the last years, around 350, 320 applications received. And you can see also that it's a highly popular call, and therefore also high competition. We finance around, you can see it varies between 37 in 2023, going down to 30 projects in 2024. It depends a little bit how many we select under lot 2 and under lot 1, of course, because lot 2 have bigger budgets also, 4 million. So it's a very competitive call, and we have a success rate between 6 and 10%. So this is a bit what it has looked like over the years, but I wanted also to give you a little bit a flavor of the 2 different lots, what it has been in terms of development. So here you can see the first 4 years in terms of statistics. I think for lot 1 we are actually covering a lot of countries, which is very good. These are the coordinating countries. It means the main responsible of the projects is actually the coordinator. And then, of course, the partners can be from other countries as well. So still, I mean, we are missing coordinators from some countries. These are like Sweden, Estonia, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Bulgaria, Malta, and also from the associated countries to the program, like North Macedonia. We have also Iceland, Liechtenstein, and then also Luxembourg we are missing as member states, and then Norway. So there are a few countries that do not have, let's say, coordinators for the time being, but we are really expanding well, I would say, in the last years, as you can see also in these statistics. And as I mentioned, in particular for lot 1, we have a really tough selection. And I would say that the lowest success rate has been 7% and the highest have been 10%. So we really only select very good proposals, so really ranking high. So it's a competitive call. So the projects being here today representing the selected projects have really done a good job preparing their applications. So let's go to lot 2, where we have a little bit different situation. As you can see, it's not covering all countries in terms of coordinators. Also because it's a very specialized lot, you have to be actually member of the Pact for Skills in the partnership. The partners have to be members of the Pact for Skills. So of course it restricts a little bit the eligibility of this lot. And you see also Belgium is rather well represented. It's also because we have a lot of associations in Belgium or like bigger organizations, and of course they often take the leadership in these kind of projects. And here it has also remained rather stable over the years. You see we had a lower selection in 2023, but normally it's around 7-8 projects that we select and finance. And the success rate has been around 20 to 47%, depending on the number of applications we receive. You don't see it here, but we don't receive as many as we receive for lot 1, where we have around over 300 applications. Here we're talking about maybe from 17 to 30 applications, more or less, because it's very specialized, I would say, this lot too. So let's go to the next slide. So what I did for this event today, actually, I looked a little bit what projects we are financing in Unit A2, addressing really the textile sector, fashion, and this is what I found actually. We have some projects then under Alliances for Innovation, but we have also under forward-looking projects, and forward-looking projects are large-scale initiatives designed to identify, develop, test and assess innovative approaches in education and training. And these projects aim to foster innovation, creativity, and social entrepreneurship across different education sectors and discipline. And we have also the COVE, and it's the Center of Vocational Excellence under the Erasmus program again, and they enhance the quality and relevance of vocational education and training in Europe. And these centers focus on creating skills ecosystem that support innovation, regional development, and social inclusion. We also have, I mentioned here very quickly, also the European policy experimentation. We had the first call last year, and actually here we will also have some projects selected, but they are still under contracting. So I will not talk more about them, but it's good to keep in mind that there will also be maybe some projects under European policy experimentation also addressing textile and fashion. So it's a good way to keep that in mind and maybe go to the tender and funding portal where you can find more information about this when the projects have been confirmed. But let's see what type of projects we have. In total, when I did the statistics, I found that we had over these years 29 proposals addressing textile in the submitted applications, and we have then selected so far 9 actually. And these you will find here on the first page here. We have mainly the alliances projects. And in the next page, you will also see the COVE and also the forward-looking. And normally these kind of projects, I don't know if you can see what if it's too small, the text maybe, but this project, they address knowledge sharing between higher education, institutes, vet, labor market, research sector, and they also encourage collaboration between sectors. There is also focus on development of innovative curricula and teaching and learning methods and approaches. They also support the transition to circular economy. Some builds also on previous blueprint projects, adding new skills to help companies with the transition to digital and green practices. We have projects developing capacity building programs for students. And if we look at the second page also, here we have the other projects. There is also focus on circular economy to wider system level view, for example. We have skilling and reskilling of the TCLF workforce. We have also developing and transferring innovative biodesign modules for education. And we have also cooperation for shared strategies and online networking. So you can really see that it's a big, it covers, this project, they cover really different aims, and I try to make it a little bit more, how can we say, visual in this slide. It's almost like a nice bouquet of different aims. And here you see again the digital and the green skills, of course, the circular economy. They address resilience, the skills gap, new training models and curricula, innovation in textile design and production processes, train the trainers, raising awareness of different aspects, green sustainable design and materials. So it's really a wide range of aims in these projects. If we look at the budget for these projects, we come up to 16.9 million euros for these projects. I heard the amounts before of the Confederation. Well, these are not so big amounts in comparison, but we are still happy that we can support the sector with, let's say, almost 17 billion euros. And you see here a little bit the variation. Of course, we have a few more projects under alliances, so we almost come up to 14.5 million. And then there is a smaller project under forward-looking projects, 800,000, and then we have another one for COVE for 1.6 million. And who is involved in this project actually? Where do we get, where are the coordinators from? And here you can see, of course, you have the different countries. You have Portugal with 2. You have also Spain and also Greece. And then you have for the other countries 1 coordinator each. So this is what it looks like in terms of representation of coordinators. But it's also interesting to see this slide, I think. Here you have both partners and coordinators. Of course, Spain and Italy, I would say, they have a big textile sector. So of course, they also have a lot of partners involved from these countries. But there is a good distribution, I would say, between the countries. You see also Bulgaria, Greece, Portugal, Germany, even Sweden, France, and Romania are well represented, and of course Belgium as well. So this is a little bit what it looks like if we take the whole partnership in these proposals. And I'm actually finalizing here. I just wanted to give some pictures from the different projects that we are actually supporting. You can see from Cocoon, we have these booths made of algae. We have different networking and other partner events that we have financed. And of course, I'm very curious today to hear more about the projects, where you are, what are the challenges and so on, and the first results, of course. And I also would like to thank again the projects, the project for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to present these statistics. And we are also approaching actually the end of some of the projects selected in 2021. And of course, we are very curious to see the results of these projects, of course. And we also hope that these kind of events like this one today of transition, as I know that some of our projects will be here, it's also a way of having a bit of sharing of experiences, best practices. It's almost like a bit of a cluster meeting. So we're also looking forward to hear more about this, of course. And as a final statement, I would just like to also wish everyone best of success in the continuation of the projects and with the results. And I'm very much looking forward. So thank you so much, and good luck with everything.
Thank you very much, Cecilia, for your presentation and also for your very valuable support to our transition project, which is much appreciated. Thank you again. I have a communication to give to you, because there is a car that has to be moved. It is a Jeep, and it was parked inside in the wrong place. The plate number is GB642GW. So, do you have a Jeep? I will not judge you. Just please move it, because it's parked in the wrong way. No? It's not ours. Okay, better. Okay, so let's move on to the presentations of transitions projects results. So each partner, which are work package responsible, will give us their overview of each work package. So we start with Marina Castan, which is our coordinator from ELISAVA, and that will show us the management and quality results. Please.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Transnational Transitions Conference. Thank you for joining us today, both online and in person. I also like to thank you, the Confindustria Association, for hosting us. And it's a real pleasure to present today the results of our project and discuss further with you about the future of training for the textile and fashion sector. So, at ELISAVA, we promote education, knowledge, and research in the fields of design, industrial design engineering, and communication. We offer undergraduate degrees, master's degrees, and postgraduate degrees, as well as doctoral programs. As Paola mentioned, ELISAVA is the coordinator of the Transitions Project and is responsible for overseeing the management and ensuring quality. In the slide, you can see the team. Okay, so over the next hour, the Transitions partners will present the results of the project, and this session is structured around the different work packages that make up the project. So each presentation will outline the results, the work done, and the main outputs achieved. In this presentation, I will provide you with an overview of the Transitions project, the objective, the context, the work package structure, the collaborative methodology that we used, and the main outputs. Okay, so the Transitions Project is a strategic alliance for innovation, as our PO explained. It gathers technological centers, VET providers, higher education institutions, and relevant stakeholders to support the transitions towards a more sustainable and textile and fashion industry by developing a new training program. So the transitions partner include 3 higher education institutions, 3 textile and fashion clusters, 2 vocational training institutions, and a platform for young designers, and a public body organization. The project addresses textile and fashion students, SMEs, professionals, teachers, and researchers in the textile and fashion education. The objective of the project is to design a new training program to effectively address digital and green transformation of the industry at 3 educational levels, VET, higher education and professionals. And by doing so, Transitions aims to support these stakeholders in leveraging sustainability and technology to create new value propositions and business models that are aligned with the principles of a circular economy and an industry 4.0 and 5.0. Our ultimate goal is to create a collaborative and real work-based training program that brings together key stakeholders across the textile and fashion value chain to face real challenges. So one important thing is the alignment of the Transitions project with key EU initiatives that are currently shaping our industry. So we built upon the EU textile ecosystem transition pathway, a roadmap for making the textile sector more sustainable, resilient, and digital. We also built on the Pact for Skills in Textiles ecosystem, which focuses on training and reskilling workers to develop expertise in circular design, resource efficiency, and advanced manufacturing. And finally, we align with Europe's 2030 objectives, which set ambitious goals for the textile industry, ensuring that textiles in the EU are durable, recyclable, primarily made from recycled fibers, free of toxic substances, and ethically produced. Quite a big challenge. So based on our findings, during the research phases of the project, we identified a lack of teaching practices that enable students to reflect critically on the current textile and fashion system in order to position themselves in the future. According to the OECD Learning Framework 2030, students of the future need to develop their sense of agency to actively participate and positively impact the world. Textile and fashion education is evolving to reflect the complex nature of sustainability problems. And this requires adjustments that span from the ecological to the socio-economic and cultural dimensions of textile and fashion. Therefore, the Transitions program takes a systemic approach to textile and fashion to effectively address the complex nature of these problems. In this context, it means understanding the entire value chain, from material sourcing and production processes to labor conditions, cultural influences, and environmental impact. A systemic approach considers how design choices, supply chains, and consumer behavior are interconnected, shaping the industry's sustainability and long-term resilience. This is the work package overview. And this is the work package structure of the project. So as you can see, it's composed of 6 work packages. Work package 1 and 6, they run transversally. And work package 2, 3, 4, and 5 work closely together. So we build on the double diamond framework. So an important thing is that, within the Transitions project, we use a co-design process to develop the content and foster cooperation among partners. So in here you can see how this co-design process works. So Work Package 2, led by NTT, conducted research to identify the skills needed for the three target groups of the project, focusing on shaping a digital and circular textile and fashion industry. And this involved mapping the key skills, analyzing industry needs, and defining relevant training profiles. Then Work Package 3, led by Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences, built on this research by defining the core content for the transitions program. And this included developing a technology and sustainability toolkit, testing best practices, and structuring learning materials through experimental workshops. Work Package 4, led by CITTà STUDI, focuses on curriculum design and development, building on the content of the toolkit. It defines a modular curriculum with tailored learning pathways for different educational levels. The curriculum is then tested and prototyped through the Transitions Lab, which are short training programs piloted across the project partners' countries. Finally, Work Package 5 is responsible for doing this, running the pilot, and through this iterative process, the Transitions Lab provide real-world testing and feedback, helping refine the curriculum. So it's important to mention that within the project, we created this co-design process that was key in developing all the content. We use the Miro board for developing the content and combining online and in-presence meetings. So just to summarize a bit the outputs of the projects, we've got the loopholes toolkit, the transitions modular curriculum, and 3 learning pathways addressed the different educational levels. Here is the loopholes toolkit. So the loopholes toolkit it allows users to create data flows and journeys and to map the current system and implement strategies on sustainability, digitalization, stakeholder engagement, and business and finance. So it's a comprehensive toolkit with different canvases that my colleague Troy will explain you later. So next output is the Transitions Modular Curriculum that integrates this sustainability, digitalization, business and finance, and stakeholder engagement as cross-cutting competencies. And each area is organized into a structured framework that comprises 15 modules. Here you have an example of how the VET learning pathway that is designed to provide learners education on sustainable and circular practices for the textile and fashion industry. And this pathway emphasizes experiential learning through workshops, real-world challenges, and industry placements, ensuring that learners are equipped with technical expertise, but also critical thinking. So just to wrap up, to let you know that you will find the final outcomes of the project by June 2025 through the Transitions Project website. So this is all from my side, and yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Marina. It's now time for presenting Work Package 2, Data Research and Transference. Enrico Venturini from Next Technology Tecnotessile will present this Work Package. Please.
Thank you, Paola. Good morning. My name is Enrico Venturini. I come from Next Technology Tecnotessile. We are a research center, technological research center based in Prato, one of the biggest manufacturing areas for textile in Europe. And as it was already introduced, we led the Work Package 2 that was about the preparation of data and needs that then would have nurtured the preparation of curriculum, of toolkits, and also the labs that have been run through Transition Project. So we started by mapping. And to map, of course, we have worked on different levels. First level was the literature and desk analysis, and most importantly, the survey. So we tried to create an overall picture about textile and materials, sustainability and circularity, and technology and digital tools for Industry 4.0. As you can see, we have produced 6 deliverables, so 6 reports, and most of them are public, so you can find them on the website, and I think they could be a valuable tool for researchers, but also for companies and experts to get an overview. So sometimes it's very hard to find data or information, systematize the information. So through these documents, you can have really a good basis for your research or your work. So in brief, the survey was run at the beginning of 2023, so it dates back more than 1 year, but I think it's still valid because most of the data that we found are still very actual, and we gathered responses from 158 organizations and experts, divided into the 3 target groups of transition, so professionals, VET, and HEI. And of course, all over Europe, and especially in the countries that are partners of transition project. So we have a map of materials and technology. We have an overview of what are the most burning skills and needs for skills in the textile and clothing sector. And we also have an overview of what could be initiatives and thematic areas for upskilling and reskilling. So let's start with the first result that we have gathered. So more than 50% of the participants to the survey declared that they would like to achieve a percentage of sustainability within their company ranging from 80 to 100%. So this is already a very great result, in my opinion, because at least our stakeholders in the sector are aware of the fact that they need to become more circular. How this goal will be achieved, it's not very clear in this moment. But here you see what among the respondents are the most strategic let's say, areas in the textile and fashion industry for the next 3 to 5 years. So, as you can see, 30% have declared that recycling and environmental sustainability is the main target for them. So, this is really what the transition is about, becoming more sustainable, and recycling also, in my opinion, is a key word, because there is a strong need for implementing recycling of textile waste. Then we have a 23% of Industry 5.0. So actually there is a lack of knowledge and a lack of skills in the textile industry about digitalization and a more resilient industry. And then the other Industry 4.0, process and quality control, but they are at a lower scale. So in the first area, recycling and environmental sustainability, we can point out eco-design, manufacturing technologies, certification and standardization, legislation and communication skills, and of course, the eco-design for the last part of the product life cycle. Here, you see the main difficulties or challenges that our industries or stakeholders have in front of them. So, more or less, they're all the same, but as you can see, one of the top difficulties that they have is in financial area. So, they would need more funding and more support in terms of improving their circularity. Another very important outcome is the consumer education. As you see, there is also a need by our companies to introduce new concepts in the behavior of the consumer, and this is very well known, but it's something that it's not really dependent on them. So they rely on somebody who will increase the sensitivity of the consumer towards more sustainable behaviors. And then we have legislation and also operational difficulties. These operational difficulties will come also after, because as we can see, there is a strong need also in terms of technologies for being more sustainable and in particular for recycling. So in terms of skills, we have divided the skills into big areas. The first area is the green skills, of course. As we have seen, one of the most important requirement of our industry is about circularity and recycling. So the green skills that have been top ranked are eco-design, which is same percentage of recycling technologies and opportunities, knowledge of properties of recycled materials, and also supply chain management. So this is very interesting outcome as well. So as you can see, eco-design is always top of the list, together with the recycling technologies. I think that these two factors really will make the difference in the future for our companies. But there is a lack of skills about eco-design, because eco-design is something everybody talks about, but it's very hard to implement. The same can be said about recycling technologies, because there are many recycling technologies not available, but at least under development with a high TRL, but they're still a little bit far for being implemented. Of course, the knowledge of properties, and we know very well that chemical substances that are present in our textile waste is a big problem, and the supply chain management also. Regarding the digital skills, we have these skills as top-ranked: data analysis, digital manufacturing operations, knowledge of advanced digital system, and social media management. This is something we will see also later, but of course the analysis of data is something that our textile and clothing companies are really find difficulties in implementing something very solid. So most of the times, they run machines from which they don't know the productivity rate, they don't know what is the, dead times of the machine. They do not gather real production data to be analyzed for improving the efficiency of their operations, as well as digital manufacturing, and the implementation of advanced technologies, not to talk about artificial intelligence, of course, because this is also something that, as you can see, artificial intelligence is only 7%. So it's something that is a bit far from the understanding of our companies. It is also true that this survey was conducted more than 1 year ago, but it's still something very nice to think about. So the soft skills, the third group that we have analyzed, are horizontal skills, of course, and in this case, they're more or less all the same importance, but I would like also to stress the importance of the first one, adaptability. So the flexibility of workers in the textile and clothing sector is something that is really a priority for our companies, in my opinion. You know that textile experts or technicians need to be very flexible in terms of product change, so the technical features of the product, of the production process, and especially also the compliance with the requirements coming from the customers. And here I refer also to the brands that are on the market. And then among the others, time management, creativity also is very important, communication, problem solving, and teamwork. This is about important tools that can contribute to the achievement of a more circular production. So here, it's very interesting. You see that the top-rated one is the life cycle assessment. So now it's changed because it's very much in place, but still there is a need of doing some objective measurements about the production process in order also to understand where are the weak points of the projects, of the process where the company can make interventions. So in order to identify not efficient points of the production process, and also, of course, the specific machinery and equipment and life cycle costing. Yes. Let's go to the professional figures training. So in terms of needs, what are this is also very important for trainers, I guess. What are the most wanted solutions about training programs? As you can see, the three top-rated are midterm courses, meaning from 100 to 500 hours, post-diploma higher education, and university program. And there is a kind of big gap between the first three and the others. So this means very well that our industries need short interventions. Yes. Short courses in terms of reskilling and upskilling, digital skills, green skills, and also the problem of aging workforce, because only, I think, 5% of the textile workers are of the age of 25. 36%, if I'm not wrong, are more than 50. And of course, the training of new professional figures. So they really want short interventions combined with the flexibility that I was mentioning before, okay? So to reskill very often the people that are employed in the sector. So as you can see, coaching and training session and apprenticeship programs are the most voted. So one-to-one training is always the most wanted. And this one is also very interesting. 34% one session of 1-3 months, 26 recurring short terms of 4 hours, and 17% intensive courses of 4 to 6 days. This is the map of textile and material innovation. It's divided by circularity, natural fibers, bio-based fibers, and zero waste challenge. This is available on the website. So there is a very comprehensive map of materials and technology. But for instance, for natural fiber, many indicators tell us that there will be an increase in the use of natural fibers in the UA, while in the other areas there is still a strong need for R&D to improve their usage. And this is the map of advanced technologies. Unfortunately, I don't have the time here to present all the different sections, but if you have a look at the material in the website, you see there is a quite nice analysis of all the technologies that are now under development in Europe for improving circularity, recycling, but also digital solutions, smart textiles, and advanced products. And then the last point of the research that we have done is about collaboration opportunities. So different kind of topics. What type of collaboration? What are the reasons for collaboration? What are the barriers? What are the key areas for collaboration? And here there are some nice results, like companies prefer to have local collaboration instead of maybe transnational ones, even if European countries is at 26%. And what they would seek mainly is sharing knowledge and mutual benefits. So they like to share knowledge. It's quite nice. And the main barriers to collaboration are lack of time. Still, textile and clothing factories are concentrated on daily routine and daily production, so they do not dedicate time to upskilling or reskilling. And then 28%, and then 15% textile and fashion market differences. So it's very segmented, so it depends really on the market you refer to. What kind of activities are wanted to enhance collaboration? Projects, 24%. National and European projects, 17%. And training section, very nicely, is 15%. So they rather prefer projects than training. And this is the map of the different countries of transition, where you see what are the most wanted areas for collaboration. I don't have the time again to go through this. And with this, I thank you very much for your attention, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Enrico, for your in-depth analysis of the needs, which is very important starting point for the Transitions project. And now it's time to present the Work Package 3 experimental workshops. So Troy, please. Troy Nattigal from HVA will present this work package.
Thank you very much, Paola. Thank you to the Confindustria and to all of you for being here today. I am Troy Nachtigal. I am the head professor at the Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences for Fashion Research and Technology. I'm here today to present the findings of Work Package 3, which wasn't just us. This was a very large co-design project, one of the biggest ones we've ever seen, and it actually worked as co-design, which is something unique and interesting. I myself was a fashion designer before going back to industry or back to academia and doing a PhD. And that really led us to do this from a deep design perspective. So the project was written from a design perspective, but we were very happy to pull it off. And I know that because each of you is sitting with one of these right now, and if the proof is in the pudding, we're very happy with the pudding that we made at this point. The toolkit enables workshops, it enables companies, higher education, everybody from masters down to vocational and back up again, to actually work with this. And if you don't believe that's a big challenge, it's an incredible challenge, because making this work for entrepreneurs versus SMEs versus VET students was a deep, deep challenge. And getting there was an interesting process that I'm very happy we all went through together and that we actually made it, because there were many points that this could have failed. I am very excited that this came out of an earlier project that we published in the academic journal of co-design. So we were very happy that within our PhD work in the Architects ETN, we had come up with this co-design pattern, and this project gave us the possibility of taking it further and doing something very interesting with it. We use the double diamond method, as Marina said, not only in the overview, but in the work packages themselves. So we had a very deep process here where we were going through 2 rounds with it over 4 years. So you can only imagine how big that was. Thanks to our early postdoc, Bruna Govia da Rocha, who is now a professor at TU Eindhoven, we were able to come up with this participatory game design, which turned into a toolkit as it got more complicated. That, thanks to the Work Package 2 and their findings in the mapping, really gave us a way to address a complex challenge. Fashion is a complex domain, one of the more complex. That's why I actually enjoy it very much. But finding that complexity inside of it was an interesting thing to try to take apart as we try to bring digitalization, sustainability, stakeholder engagement, and business and finance back to it. It's in my next slide. While this was happening, do remember that at the same time, the transitions pathway for the textile ecosystem was also evolving. We started off when this was only in its co-design phase in and of itself. And in this project, we had many findings that aligned very closely to it. We confirmed many of the things that they were finding. I was happy that Work Package 2 confirmed very much what that co-design process had discovered. That was very important to our process. And then we used this and worked along with it, because we realized that this is what the companies were going to need to do, and that we needed to train students of all levels to be able to come into the industry starting now and to be able to change these things, as we have about 6 years left to really make this transition happen. So as the fashion and technology transition happens, we're right at the heart of it. To do that, we went through many iterations of a workshop. While we had online workshops and physical workshops within this, what you'll see is in Work Packages 4, 5, and 6, we continue to use the toolkit throughout these, and these workshops continued. And I know that many of you who are here today probably have already played this at least once. And we're very excited about that, and we're excited to show you what it ended up as well, because it went through a design process where we keep iteratively improving it. So starting with the online workshops, moving to local in-person workshops to test it. This was the one that we did at the New Order of Fashion in Eindhoven. where we were working with cutting-edge entrepreneurial designers to ensure that this could actually help entrepreneurs realize the companies of tomorrow. So this was the Great Big Entrepreneurship, and as you can see here, it was very much experts in the different domains that we identified, working with the individual people to help them get there and working through these toolkits. At the same time, we had our meetings, and I like this picture because it shows the co-design process. Actually, co-designing with 4 different countries of people from many different backgrounds in fashion is very challenging. And anybody who tells you differently isn't actually doing co-design, I believe. Just finding dates where we are all available and not on vacation is the first challenge when you have these 4 different cultures engaged. So that was the first part. So these transnational meetings, very important for actually engaging in this. But know that in working together and having these online meetings, digitalization is great, but we still have cultural realities that we have to deal with, and that made finding dates to even get the work done really very interesting. But it worked in the end, and you can see what's happening in these kind of sessions as we're all using QR codes to digitally engage with the material. The result is not only the toolkit that you're holding in front of you, but a series of support materials that are available on the Transitions website. And those materials allow us to look at this complex problem, complex challenge from many different perspectives, because we realized in this process, as we worked with all of you across fashion in 4 different countries, that this is going to be something that has to be approached from different areas. So we had the business canvas that we started off with. We went through 13 sustainable business canvases and came back to the original one as being the one that actually works best in these situations. But we also had to create a stakeholder canvas that takes a look at who are all the people involved and how are the roles and the tasks of what people are doing changing thanks to the transition that we're going through. We had to have the material canvas that reevaluates the materials that we're using to design fashion and textiles and come up with new ways of looking and doing that. We had the data canvas, which is unfortunately covered up there, but the data canvas is working with the data that's involved in all of these processes and looking deeply into how can we change that data and how can we make that data more available. As we were watching the Eco-Design for Sustainable Product regulation come online, we found that the data was going to be extremely important in that. And so enabling sustainability required digitalization, and especially for those of you who have looked at the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, the CSRD, you know how challenging it's about to get here in just a minute. But that was an important part of this, because once you look at it from this multi-perspective, you get the multifaceted perspective here, you can actually start to redesign companies, evaluate situations that make sense, and help that company transform into the company that Europe needs tomorrow. Anybody who's been to any of my talks knows these slides all too well. As we were developing along the Eco-Design for Sustainable Product regulations, we looked very deeply at each part of ESPER to come up with how is this going to affect and change the 4 different areas that we identified. Whether it's the market surveillance regulation, which is going to literally put fashion police on the street, which we think is a fabulous thing. Everybody from the 70s has wanted this, and this is great. So, they're going to have people checking where are you from and what is it actually, is it what it says on the label? Because right now it really isn't. Saxion in the Netherlands did a report where 50% of the labels they found had more than a 10% variance of what was there. If you do any recycling processes, you know that more than a 5% variance kills your recycling process. So that was one of the big things that we needed to fix. So that was also part of the textile labeling requirement that we brought into this and tried to help companies identify and use. I'm just going to switch back really quick. If you look really deeply in these canvases, and I hope you will when you go to our website, each one of these little blue boxes is one of the parts of ESPER and the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. So these are really made to effectively help students and companies get to what needs to be the next model and working with that new model. So very much a design process that very much got us there. The toolkit is made to explore, evaluate, generate, and describe, because we also discovered that not every company needs the same thing, not every student needs the same thing. So what we thought was going to be a very simple toolkit came out to be a very complex toolkit that you can engage with in very different ways. And there's instruction manuals that take you through each of those. I know it's a very weird website to show you here, but what we're also very proud of in the project is that we did this as a GitHub repository. Everything is open source. Any of you who want to take this and turn it into a different toolkit, it has an open source license on it. You're welcome to do that. We want to start building upon things so we don't always have to repeat the same research every single time. And that's, we find, is key, that even the website itself, you can download and fork and make your own website for doing this. Also because we realize that the 4 different themes that we're working on in the project grow and change over time. What we need now for digitalization will be very different tomorrow. Quickly, this is the short list of everybody who helped in this project. Many of you are here today, and I'm very proud of that. This is the co-design list of every person who worked on Work Package 3, making these workshops possible and truly getting this toolkit to be what it is in front of you today. Big call out to Bruna and to Tesha Sweeney. Tesha Sweeney is looking for a job right now, so if we can help her find one, that would be outstanding. But they really did the big haul on this and really bringing everybody together. So we're very proud of everybody who did this. You'll find this on the first card if you open the toolkit. So very much a co-design process, and I'm very, very happy about that. Thank you very much, and I hope you can take a look at Work Package 4.
Thank you, Troy. Thank you also for your loopholes toolkit, which I think is really useful for students and for companies as well. So it's my turn now to talk about the curriculum design and development that we were working on as CITTà STUDI. CITTà STUDI is an educational institution, and we have also Pointex, which is a textile innovation cluster. So I think that both experience have supported very much as to build this curriculum. And I would just like to thank my team, especially Alessandro Pieratini and Laura Rognone, who work with me for this transition curriculum design and development. So the main objective of this work package was to design, develop, and implement a transition curriculum. So as Marina said at the beginning, we used a modular approach and we try to involve also companies to give us the support as to build some new innovative learning pathways. We started just a short overview of the context and motivation, because the main problem when you try to build a new curriculum is that the education models that are used currently in education, in textile and fashion sectors, is that these modules are not aligned with the needs of companies, and also not always aligned with the news that are going on related to sustainability, digitalization, and systemic thinking. So we started to define some contexts and some motivations, which are these ones, and we try to put them together in order to support the new things that are going on in the textile sector. So sustainability challenges, digitalization, Industry 4.0, and also the change of consumers' behaviors, which has to be taken into account. For doing this, we always had in mind that we wanted to achieve these impacts for our projects. So modernizing fashion and textile education through this innovative and modular curriculum. Obviously, we can't change the world with only one project, but I think we really can support the education with the curriculum we are developing. We are aiming to upskill students and from university, but also from VET and professionals, and we want to bridge the gap between academia and industry, and also all of this will lead to support the Green Deal and circular economy goals. So what did we do? We are creating the structure of the curriculum by analyzing which pillars we wanted to include. So we have 4 main pillars, which are digitalization, sustainability, business and finance, and stakeholder engagement, that are the ones that allow us to ensure a holistic approach. So these 4 pillars comprehends almost everything you want to teach within this curriculum. Plus 1 pillar, which is a design research, which can be applied to all of them. After defining these pillars, we structure the curriculum by thinking that we will apply this curriculum to 3 different learning pathways, which are higher education. So in this case, the education we are going to provide will be research-based and design-led learning. Vocational education and training. So in this case, we will provide skill-based and industry-integrated courses specific for this kind of people. And then we also will be able to prepare upskilling programs for professionals in order to upskill people that are already working in the companies. The curriculum is not only, let's say, made of courses. Courses maybe is not the proper word to be used, but just to be clear, we will have in this complete toolkit the curriculum. We will have the guidelines that will explain you how to use this curriculum according to the experience of the teachers and the experience of the learners. We will have a glossary of the teaching methodologies. And we will have the teaching content, basically the PowerPoint presentation that we are developing within Transitions. All of this work was done always taking into account that we have to ensure that the courses are aligned with the European quality assessment guidelines for the program. You will have at the end of the project all these materials available, so we are developing them, and I think that by June, if I'm not wrong, we will them available for all of you in our website. So this is the structure of the curriculum that Marina just showed. So as I said, the curriculum is made of 5 knowledge areas on the left of the graphs, so design research, digitalization, sustainability, stakeholder engagement, and business finance. These pillars are better explained with 15 modules, you can see here, there, and each modules consists of learning units, so some specific learning units that you can choose. These structures allow you to choose the modules and the learning units that you want to teach. So you will be able to teach all of these if you want to have a very long training experience, or if you are interested only, for instance, in digitalization, module 5, you can select only module 5, and then you can go into details about stakeholder engagement or business and finance according to the needs of the people that you want to teach. My last slide is to tell you that this kind of curriculum is very innovative because it can provide versatility, so you can adapt modules according to any educational context, from university students to vocational education ones, and also to professionals that want to improve their learning. Also, the interdisciplinarity approach is assured. So you can really, going into this complete curriculum, you can really have a deep analysis of anything that can provide this holistic experience. As I said, this curriculum can be customized, so learners and teachers can choose the modules that they are better aligned with their experience and with their needs, with the topics that they want to go deeper into. And last but not least, the scalability. At the beginning of the project, we didn't have this real structure of the curriculum. We had more or less, yes, these 4 pillars. We had not 5, but 4. we had some different modules, some different learning units, and working on this, we defined more and more this curriculum. And I'm sure that if we go into details in 1 year, maybe something will change. And this is the strength of this curriculum, because we can really update it according to the needs of the companies and according to what is going on in from the industry point of view and perspective. So the curriculum will be available. If you have any questions, I'm here at your disposal. And I am leaving the floor to Marion Real, who is the Work Package leader of Work Package 5 testing prototype, that will test what I already explained.
Thank you, Paola, and thank you all for attending the conference. I'm Marion Real. I'm working at FabLab Barcelona in IAAC, the Institute of Advanced Architecture of Catalonia. The FabLab Barcelona is known for like being part of the evolution of the FabLab movement, Fab City movement, and we have been contributing in many projects relating to the lab concept. So this is why today, and in the transition project, we contribute also to implement and try to test the transition curricula. So I work with Petra Garajova, here also present, and other member of the team. With this, yeah, okay. So I will present you what has been tested during the program. Here, no. I already did twice. Okay. So, so we work with the notion of transition labs. So the first part of the project was a bit to understand what is a transition lab in the context of transition. So, well, it's defined as short training program and that testing the modular curricula that was presented. It's like a laboratory for supporting transition towards sustainability and digitalization in the textile sector. What we try to do is, as we have been presenting, is to foster some cooperation between vocational training, professional and higher education institution. And yeah, more generally, in different contexts, you will see that these moments are also placed for grounding circular project and appropriating local reality. So we tested in 3 different pilots. Locally, we had 2 pilots in that we call the local labs. And we just finished a last pilot that we will see a video just after. That was an international lab. Yeah. Here is the place. So we have been testing in Netherlands with both VET students and university students. In the context of Sweden, there was also 2 labs, one more focused on VET students, and the other one was with a professional, the company Gina Tricot. So we work inside the company this time. In Italy, with CITTà STUDI and in TT, we worked with VET and professional, and in Spain we have been doing 2 pilots also with ELISAVA, MODACC, and IAAC, working with all the different targets. So when you look back at all the tests that has been done in those countries, we have been testing 4 different types of transition lab. The vocational lab that are working with VET schools, where we did 4 tests. The higher education lab working with university students and academic context. We did 2 tests there. And after we have the professional one that we also test a lot, working with company and professional. And what we call interactional lab, we test also in one moment to not only work with one specific target, but to invite all the targets in the same place and try to provide a training that can be adapted to foster the collaboration between them. In the following slide, I just have some images of what happened. I cannot go in the detail of all the modules that were tested in each places, but as Paola mentioned, what was interesting is this modular approach. So you look at your context, you see what type of needs is there, you select the program, and you create the content, you invite the student, the participants, you do the experience, and you gather feedback on what happened, what did you like, what you didn't like. So here on Vocational Lab, you can see in Boras, a Nordic Textile Academy, working with vocational students. Here is the student from St. Lucas College with New Order of Fashion that did this creation during their lab. On the left here, you can see Troy and the team of HVA working with a student and some professional when we did the pilot too. You also see some computer and digital design in practice at HVA with Ineke Sirsima. Regarding the professional, we selected these two examples. So working with the Lufol toolkit with professional in Biella, with CITTΑ STUDI and in TT. And here what I was saying in the company, so in the setting of the company, also implementing Lufol activity and appropriate selected module in Gina Tricot. The last example is this interactional lab that you see here in action with the Spanish partner. You see whatever in a visits, industrial visits, or like making some collaborative prototyping in the lab, in the Fab Lab there. So the last also T-Lab that happened, we just finished, I think, a few hours ago. It was in Biella all the week. So we will have a video in a minute, but I just hear some photo that we captured during the event. There we test 3 different programs. So one program was named Designing Beyond Sustainability, target with high education students. We have another program named Digital Design for Circular Practice. Here was for the VET student, vocational training student, and the School of ISTAM that contributed a lot to bring students there. So Zero Waste, Digital Design, you will see some picture just after. And for the professional, we tested the Global Partnership for Circular Textile and Fashion Transition. So here was about global partnership, circular business model, and it was also, the 3 path was on the same place, and it was in parallel. So you have some picture here of digital design, system map, lecture, and case study. So the name of the work package is testing the curriculum. So we have tested some of the module, almost 75% of the module were tested. And more or less the participation we need to finalize with the last one, but it's more than 350 participants that contributed in different places. So I think we can be satisfied by this. And in the case you are interested also to have the approach to host a transition design lab in your own context, the project creating also a design process that is also based with and customized from the double diamond that we introduced before. But it comes also with different tools that invite you really to explore your own context, to discover the curricula, and to deep dive a bit about what are the needs, who can I invite, and then there is also some tools that help you to implement it, so planning tools, etc. So this also will be part of the final toolkit that we will release at the end of the project. And if you want to do that, I think we have a lot of learnings that we will not share all today, but some things that emerged during the pilot is, okay, if you just work on one specific module, you will maybe forget the systemic perspective. Don't forget the systemic perspective. What we were saying, we can explore all the pathway, but it's also good to go for short and meaningful learning experience. You can think also if you want something more exploratory or deep dive in one specific module. This will shape also the type of training you want. As I mentioned, it's important to customize the learning experience according to the targets and the local context. It's not so easy, as Troy mentioned, to work with all the targets on the same topic. So we need to customize. And some point that we will try to manage also and maybe share some presentation from previous pilots is that language matter, not only the country language, but also the way we talk to each other, the vocabulary, and how we discuss. So this is key learning that emerged, and there is much more. I'm now letting I tease a bit on the video, so now we will see the video, if it's available. No one saw the video before, so it's a preview now. Yeah. Thanks to New Order of Fashion and Marika Di Michele for the video. And we will also provide some reports about the Work Package 5 in the upcoming months, so everything will be on the website of Transition.
Thank you, Marion. My compliments for the video. My opinion, really great. Good job. Now I leave the floor to Lidia Morsiglio that will explain the Work Package 6, Communication and Impact, please.
Thank you, Paula. I'm Lidia Morcillo. I represent the Catalan Fashion Cluster. Catalan Fashion Cluster, it's based in Barcelona, and we involved around 150 companies involved in the business fashion, not technical textile, only fashion. Well, in this project we lead the communication. Thanks, my colleague Clara. Where is the? Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Well, why the communication in the European project and in this project? The first one is to compliance with the European requirements, but more important than this is to show the visibility and the impact of the project, transference of knowledge, exploitation of the results, and to try to convert the project in the more sustainable of the period of the project, to extend beyond the time of the project, and of course engage the stakeholders. How did we do to achieve these results? First one, we identified the target audience and the project values. We designed the communication plan, and we defined the communication tools, in this case, the website, Instagram, and LinkedIn. and we hold on the events, of course. Our target audience, it's divided in three big groups. One of these is the industry, with SMEs, fashion startups, young designers, cluster organizations, and other fashion networks. The other one is related to the education, higher education, and vocational and education training, and fashion and textile students too. And the other one is the cross-sectoral stakeholders, technological centers, makers, knowledge institutions, all the institutions related to the fashion business. The values, we define all these values, but center it always in co-design, because as my colleagues of the project explain, in this project, we work with co-creation and with co-creation. Well, different kind of results. Related to the dissemination, in the website, you can find these deliverables, and at the end of the project, we will find the rest of the deliverables and the curricula too. All these deliverables are public, and you can exit on that. Dissemination activities. Inside the project or outside the project, we have a lot of activities in our channels. Some of projects, the first one, well, we have here some examples on the website, and on the channels we can find all these activities inside or outside the project. One of these activities was a focus group held in Barcelona. In this focus group participated companies, teachers, and professors and trainers in order to, well, of course, using the loopholes, work to define the challenge of the sector in this case. And we organize together with ELISAVA, with FabLab Barcelona, and with IAAC. Well, Pilot 1 and Pilot 2, I will not explain because Marion explained before me. And to close the pilots, we organized the event called Closing the Loop. In this event, participated the stakeholders, not only the professional, not only the professors, not only the vet and high, not stakeholders related to the circular economy in Catalonia. The technological center and the consultants in circular economy. External of the transitions framework, we participate in the Barcelona Design Week. Barcelona Design Week is an event organized by the Design Week of Barcelona and the City Council in Barcelona once a year. And in this event, we present our project. CITTà study went to Ecomondo Fair to present the results and to present the project. Oops. And to Torino too. Well, the most important in the communication, the impact. This project impact in the European policies, in the vet and high, obviously, and in the companies, that's the participants of the project. Related to the policies and the textile regulation, well, we have, the textile sector have a big challenge to adapt the new regulations, to adapt the eco-design directive, to adapt the transitions pathway, as Troy mentioned. And the sector needs training professionals capable of implement processes more sustainable to drive the European economy to a carbon neutral economy. For the vet and high, well, we need professionals market labor-oriented and co-creation and working close to professional, identifying the challenge and searching common solutions, and offers up-to-date training for the textile fashion sector with focus on sustainability and digitalization to do the double transition. For the companies, it's important to access to well-trained professionals with a systemic vision and focused on the same challenge, and a lot of innovation to access cutting-edge research and the latest technologies that facilitated the incorporation of new knowledge and methodologies into production processes. And that's all. We can enter in our channels and we can find our complete results. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. And now I'm very happy to leave the floor to Dirk Vantyghem. He joined the EURATEX as a Director General in September 2019, representing the interests of over 200,000 European companies in the textiles and clothing industry, with a joint turnover of around 1.7 billion on 100 billion and 1.3 million workers. His mandate is to promote a competitive, sustainable and innovative European textiles and clothing industry. EURATEX work focuses primarily on shaping the EU policy framework for the textile industry in a global context. And prior to EURATEX, he worked for Eurochambers, the European Chamber of Commerce lobby, and he has also an economic background and holds a master's degree from the College of Europe, Bruges. So Dirk will present us the new European textile landscape, policy strategies and curriculum development in light of the Pacts for Skills and 2030 objectives. Please.
Thank you, Paola. Good morning, everybody. I hope you can still bear with me. It's been already a very long session. But, well, first of all, let me congratulate the consortium, the Transitions Project, for what you have achieved over the last, how long? Almost 3 years. Project. Interesting, impressive, not easy, but very, very relevant. And what I would like to do, before we have a coffee, is to, in a way, step a little bit back and to give you, if I may, let's say the bigger picture, the context, why what you've been doing is absolutely relevant and important. So I'll talk a little bit about that kind of European context, what is happening very briefly at the level of the textile industry, what is happening in Brussels at the level of the policymakers, and what we at EURATEX are doing specifically on skills, and maybe how what you are doing, how we can kind of bring all this together. So there's a lot of good ideas in 20 minutes. For those who would not know EURATEX, as Paolo said, our role is to be the interface between the European institutions and the textile and clothing manufacturing industry. And you can see the key numbers here. It's indeed almost 200,000 companies in the EU operating with a joint turnover of 170 billion euro. So, you know, we are still an important segment of the European economy, 1.3 million people working in our sector. And again, our role, very humbly, but challenging sometimes, is to really be that interface between that textile ecosystem, as we like to call it, and the institutions, Commission, Parliament, and Council. What we do, without going into any details, it's kind of the typical association lobby organization. So our prime role is really having an impact on the European legislation, so the political lobby on the Commission, etc. But we also engage in operations, so projects like the transition projects. Some of you know that. I just show some examples. We have a long list of projects. We focus a lot on communication, selling, you know, the values of the European textile industry. I can tell you we need to sell much more than we do. And then the whole networking, of course, that's part of our work. Just a few words about the state of the industry, and I just 2 statistics, so don't worry, not too many. But this gives you a bit of a perspective how we are doing. What you see here is kind of the quarterly development of turnover of the textile and clothing industry. plotted against kind of pre-COVID, end of 2019, 2020. You can see the deep kind of dive that we took as a result of COVID. And then there's been the gradual recovery in 2022, more or less. But you can see that lately, the last 18 months, last 2 years, we're going down again. And so the European textile and clothing industry is facing some serious difficulties. And it's a mix of elements behind that. It's about consumer demand. Basically, people do not buy clothing, fashion products, or buy less, or buy cheaper. Production costs in Europe are high, starting with the energy bills. Talk to any of your textile companies, they will scream when they see the energy bill, especially compared to their competitors in Asia, in the United States. So very tough. And then on top, Brussels is cooking a lot of regulations, as has been said already. So that makes, slow demand, high production costs, a lot of regulations to comply with. That makes it very tough. On top of all that, competition, Sheen has been mentioned, maybe come back to it. So that makes it a difficult cocktail. And obviously, our job is to try to make sure that these companies can survive and that this curve can go up again as we move forward. And this is the second slide, showing you more or less, bringing you the same image. This is the European Commission actually measuring on a monthly basis the business confidence, so more the feeling of entrepreneurs. So it's not kind of the turnover figures, but asking companies, what do you feel? Things will go better, will go worse, looking forward. Again, you can see the deep dive COVID, some recovery in the same pattern. But then again, the last 18 months, last 2 years, again, business confidence going down. So the same message, entrepreneurs, and you all work, or most of you work with textile entrepreneurs. I'm sure that's what they will tell you. They're in trouble, and they face difficulties. So that's the context. Not to be gloomy, but we need to understand and obviously try to work on that. So let's focus then on Brussels. What happens in Brussels? And again, there's been already some reference to it, so I can be relatively quick probably, but I think all of you know this. Back in 2022, March 22, it's almost 2 years ago, the European Commission launched its famous textile strategy, this EU strategy for sustainable and circular textiles. It's never been done before, that the EU has developed a plan, a vision, on where the textile industry should move forward or should go to. And I think many of you know that. Very much behind that plan is this kind of bigger vision on the Green Deal, sustainability, reduce waste, reduce our environmental footprint. At the same time, push innovation, push the industry to move from a linear to a circular business model. I think you all know these concepts. And again, this is kind of a propaganda, if you want, from the Commission, but really summarizing what the Commission plans to do. This vision is being translated into legislation. And again, it's been mentioned by some of you already. And this is a slide we often use in presentations. Again, you may have seen it already. But it's really important to re-emphasize that the textile industry, before that strategy, was fairly unregulated. Today, or tomorrow, I should say, the textile industry will become a very, very regulated sector. And this puzzle here is listing not even all pieces of legislation that are being cooked. There's even more, but it has some of the most important ones. And the ESPR has been mentioned, waste framework, EPR system, green claims, CSRD, CSDDD, textile labeling. So it's a long list of legislation which is being made. And again, some of you refer to it, and some of the curricula that you are working on obviously respond directly to this. What's important maybe is to emphasize that this is work in progress. So nearly none of this legislation is set. In some cases, the framework has been done. The ESPR regulation is there, but what we call the delegated acts for textiles, so the specific technical details which are critically important, are still under negotiation. And we are very actively engaged in negotiating with the Commission, the Parliament, etc., to establish those specific details. Important details because we're discussing recycled contents, we're discussing criteria of durability, etc., etc. So those details obviously are critically important. And that makes me wonder, when I heard some of the presentation you're making, I hope that as you develop your curricula, you will be able to integrate those specific details once they are established. Today you can't because we are still under negotiation, but it's obviously very important for the value of you know, all the tools that you are developing, that you do, I would say, stay tuned with Brussels, and that you do incorporate the different pieces of legislation again when technical details are being established. In this context, it's important also to know that some pieces of, you know, this is the menu, if you want. This is the agenda ongoing. Some pieces of that agenda may be delayed. And there's a lot of discussion, for example, on the due diligence legislation, to actually take a step back, so to speak, because there has been a lot of noise, shall I say, that it's too much, too fast from an industry perspective. All of that, you know, of companies, SMEs, my God. And again, in this global competitive context, and that I think all of you know. And so as response, or as a result of that lobbying, some pieces of legislation may be redefined. I'm sorry. For example, the due diligence legislation may be changed, may be harmonized, integrated, and that's what we call the omnibus regulation. So we are, or the Commission is reconsidering some pieces of that puzzle to make it lighter, to make it more coherent, we hope. So again, not going into all the details here, but just to share with you that there's a lot of discussion on, is this the menu? Are we too ambitious? Are we going too fast? Do we need to reconsider some pieces of that puzzle? That is very much work in progress. And therefore, once again, I can't tell you, let's say, exactly what will happen when, but there's a lot of discussion on that puzzle. But of course, the big orientation, the direction is clear. Yeah. So what we're discussing is timing, technical details, changing a little bit, slowing down a little bit. So that's very much the process where we are in. Moving forward, this is what we have ongoing. Then, as you know, we have since beginning of December, we have a new European government. We all know Mrs. von der Leyen, of course. So we have a new European Commission. And with that Commission, there is a new program. There is new ambition. There is a new plan, I would say, which I want to, very briefly share with you, because it's important, I think, for you to see how the EU is evolving. And online you can hear it. If Europe's Choice is the kind of von der Leyen's initial proposal that she presented a few months ago. And I think on my next slide, this is the one document that you should take a look at. It's been released last week. It's called the Competitiveness Compass, the EU Competitiveness Compass. It's basically the agenda for the Commission for the next 5 years. And on this kind of, this is Commission propaganda, but behind that kind of visual element, there is a long list of proposals which will be launched in the coming weeks, months, years, whereby I would say the overall trend is to, slow down a little bit on green sustainability, being the best pupil of the class in the world, towards taking more care of our industry, of our competitiveness, of our resilience, of our dependence or independence from the rest of the world, So there's been a kind of a wake-up call, very much pushed by us, by many other industry associations, by politicians as well, who say, probably or maybe we have been too naive, some would say. We have been too nice, too much hoping for the best. And it's like saying we need to not give up on the Green Deal, not give up on our textile, sustainability strategy, but take a more realistic approach and try to combine, try to reconcile sustainability and competitiveness. That's the, how to say, the spirit of this competitiveness compass. And so you can see there are big priorities: decarbonization and competitiveness. So it's, one of the big words is that 5 years ago, when the previous commission started, the buzzword was the Green Deal. Mr. Timmermans, who is from Holland here, he's back in Holland. We are moving from a Green Deal to a clean industrial deal. And these are words, but these words mean a lot in the shift of the mentality in Brussels. So clean, yes, but let's take care of the industry. And so under this decarbonization competitiveness, there is a long list of initiatives tackling energy prices, tackling competitiveness, putting a strong focus on innovation. Some of you may have heard the Draghi report, Mr. Draghi, who presented this quite famous report analyzing the competitiveness of the European economy, comparing mainly with the US and then the rest of the world. Not good for us, for Europe. And it's very much about innovation. It's about capital markets. It's about how much are we spending, patents, research. So big plans on innovation. Reducing excessive dependencies and increasing security. What does it mean? It's diplomatic language to say reduce our dependency on China, reduce our dependency on the US, be more self-reliant. So again, it does not mean that Europe will become a protectionist kind of a fortress Europe, but a little bit more taking care of our own interests. And of course, what happened in the US in the elections accelerates this process. Think about defense, think about also access to raw materials, energy supplies, all these things. So Europe is kind of waking up a little bit and saying we need to take care of our own needs, supplies, interests. So that's what comes here. And again, if you go online, you will find this document. There's a nice list of initiatives, very ambitious, linked with other areas, simplification. So again, everybody is screaming that it's too many regulations, too many rules. So coming down, trying to streamline some of the regulation, focus on the single market, so reduce barriers within the single market, and then many other things. And then, of course, the important point, I don't know if you can see it, goes back. In that big plan, there is also a dedicated chapter on skills and quality jobs. So in the EU's new vision, if you want, on how to manage this whole competitiveness challenge that we have, there is, again, an entire chapter with a number of proposals which von der Leyen and her team will be rolling out in the coming months and years. The most important one under this chapter is she announced a union of skills. Sounds good, and Brussels like to do these big announcements. What exactly it will mean, we're not too sure yet, but it's a political statement. I will launch a union for skills, meaning Europe will spend probably more money on education and skills. And again, part of this whole logic, obviously, we're all convinced in this room that we need to invest in people, because it's one of the few things that we have left in Europe. People with creativity, with brains, and obviously in the textile and fashion industry, this is extremely relevant. So it's good to see this focus on skills along with other elements. So again, the message, just sharing a bit how the ongoing work, all the legislation with some changes, with some maybe change in timing, but you can also see kind of the big orientation coming for the next 5 years. Very briefly then, what do we do in all this, apart from our general lobbying and all that? So very quickly trying to share a little bit the EURATEX plan or activities that we have developed over those last 2-3 years, I would say. And I just want to put up this slide first to give a bit of perspective. 1,294,459 people working in the textile industry in 2023. So we need to take care of those people, right? And you can see the evolution. We were 1.5 million 10 years ago. So the decrease is not so dramatic. Personally, I actually expected that we had lost more people. So I think overall it's going down a little bit, but it's not going down dramatically. On the black line is the value added per employee. So it's productivity. And again, I think we know this, or I think it's good to see it, that over those years, the productivity of our workers has increased constantly. And obviously that's what we need to focus on. How to keep those people, how to maintain that workforce, and how to continue increasing the productivity. The challenges of our industry, it's been mentioned before, we don't need to repeat too much. The aging workforce, you can see more than 40% is more than 50 years old. I think we all know that. So the low interest from the young generation, so attracting young people for the industry. Maybe less so in the fashion, design, creativity. In the textiles, let's say technical textiles, very difficult. And we need, in our textile industry, when I said 170 billion, half of that is technical textiles. So it's one of the areas where Europe is strong. Think of textiles in automotive, in agriculture, construction, medical textiles. It's where we have a strong kind of a competitive advantage. So we need people. We need textile engineers. It's a different profile than the creative people, but we need those as well. Anyway, and then the lack, the digital and green skills. Again, this is some numbers from also a survey that we have done, confirming what was said before. For us, again, it's been mentioned before, kind of the main policy guideline, so to speak, is this Pact for Skills, this TCLF Pact for Skills that we signed with the European Commission back in December 22, it was, with Monsieur Breton, the Commissioner for Industry at the time. Now he's gone. Who was very much pushing the more important sectors of the European economy to have a pact for skills for every big sector. And again, I don't know if you have seen this document. It's like a contract, or it's like a commitment between the industry and the European Union to say, these are the challenges for the sector in terms of education skills, and this is what we will try to achieve. And you can see it's about pretty obvious statements, promoting lifelong learning, skill partnerships, the monitoring, also the equality, gender discrimination, increasing the awareness. So pretty obvious statements. In this Pact for Skills, there is a more detailed list of even targets. The Commission insisted to have some KPIs that we try to follow. Pedro? Yes. It's a kind of a framework that gives us kind of the guidance on which to work. From that framework, we have established this TCLF Skills Alliance. Troy, you refer to it, which is it's fairly loose concept, but it's basically trying to gather all the players, the stakeholders that are engaging in these activities in a informal alliance. And when we launched the Pact for Skills document in beginning of 23, we kind of reach out to many players to say, please help us endorse. Do you want to endorse that Pact for Skills and engage with us to implement those kind of targets? And I don't know the list, how many we have, 200 plus probably, stakeholders that say, yes, we agree with that analysis from the Pact for Skills, and let's work together to, let's say, move from talk to action. Let's try to implement within this Skills Alliance. And so part of our work is very much trying to facilitate, coordinate, promote concrete activities within that framework. And actually, what we currently do, moving from the big political talk to the concrete action, if I can say so, is we are running or co-running 3 other projects, very similar to the Transitions project, and again, they've been mentioned, some of them. We have the Equalis for TCLF, the Meta Skills for TCLF, and the TCLF Skill Bridge. And there is just one slide, but I'll be very quick. Meta Skills is, you can see the technical details here. It's similar to the Transitions project in the sense that it's about doing analysis, survey, needs, etc., and developing curricula, new curricula for the textile industry, plus seminars, attracting the young people for the industry, etc. And you can see the countries that are included in that project. Equalis is doing more or less the same with a different set of countries. You can see more in Central Europe, some new member states that are involved also, but also Finland is there. Again, needs analysis, developing new curricula. We actually had a consortium meeting 2 days ago in Belgrado with all the partners. Again, very similar to what you've been doing, work package per work package. Where are we in setting those curricula, etc. And then the third one is a little bit different, Skill Bridge. It's not an Erasmus project. There we put more focus on pushing at a regional level partnerships between the industry, the education providers, and the public authorities. So to stimulate these kind of regional skills partnerships, to make them work together, pushing the local authorities to invest in skills, work with the industry, and develop, at local, regional level, like action plans around education. And so we work a lot with, again, regional authorities, also at political level in Brussels with the Committee of the Regions, with DG Regio, so to really try to have, let's say, concrete activities at regional level, taking into account the specificities of regions that, some of you know very well. So this is ongoing. And again, my colleague Pedro is here, Gonzalez, who is very much involved. He's also on the panel this afternoon or later on. So if you have any questions on these activities, Pedro can elaborate more. My last point is, let's say, moving further, or based on all this, you saw those 3 projects. You have Transition project. There are many other projects. What we would like to do as EURATEX is to facilitate bringing all those different projects more closely together, because there is a lot of synergy. I don't want to talk about overlap, but there is a lot of things that we can learn from each other. So does it make sense to set up a network, informal network, where those different project consortia can come together? And some of you have been contacted by us, I think, to check, would you be interested in such a network? Where we come together, and what you see here is the feedback from, I think, 20 projects, around 20 consortia, including the Transitions one, where you can clearly see, say, yes, we would be very interested to get together, and you can see how, and so they would like, I think there's one here, one of the slides, what to do. So to learn from each other, to basically join forces, avoid overlapping, etc. So what we would like to propose in the next few days, even, and next 2 days, we will have a meeting, 2 weeks. We will have a first meeting with inviting those 20 consortia to start that discussion. How can we, without being too much rigid and all that, but how can we share knowledge, work together, make sure that we are complementary and that collectively across those 20 projects which are running, and maybe more in the future, making sure that we make the most of all those efforts in a coordinated way that obviously benefits our textile industry. That's the bottom line. It's a little bit similar. Some of you may know the Ecosystex network, which ETP has launched, focusing on innovation. It's a little bit the same concept, focusing on education. So the same idea, let's bring the different projects together in a whatever format, make them talk to each other, learn from each other, develop new projects, obviously, avoid overlap, avoid duplication. So a little bit the same concept. Carefully, we don't want to intrude too much, but step by step, based on the interest. And again, we will have a first, I think, online meeting coming up very soon, and I will take it step by step to see how far can we go. But we think, again, considering the bigger picture, considering the Pact for Skills, etc., that it's relevant and important to try to join forces, to try to be coherent as much as possible. Voilà, that's what I wanted to share. Happy to take any questions or having discussion later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dirk, for your presentation, which I think was very full of data and analysis, but also very inspiring. So thank you very much. Time for the coffee break now. We have 15 minutes, so please come back at 11:50. Okay, see you later.